to present what they have. We put together a panel that would introduce our new programs. We had quite a few new programs start up this year, and we realized that a lot of people don't know about them. So today we have Amy Zabel. She comes to us from Columbus, and she has been, she is our state and national trainer, right, for Ending the Silence. And I'll let her tell you what that's all about, but she has made incredible strides with ending the silence in the Columbus area with the Department of Education. So I think you're going to be really excited to hear from her. Next we have Anise Shahi. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Anise is one of our trainers for Homefront, and he has been actively involved with the CIT, and he is in and out of our office almost on a weekly basis. We love having him. And he's going to talk to us today about Homefront, which is a new signature program that is for veterans. Next we have Bill Carruthers, and most of y'all think, who doesn't know Bill? Bill started this year the Consumer Council project pilot and had a wonderful event a week ago, and with 300 consumers that came out to celebrate recovery. And he's going to talk to you about rolling that program out within your affiliate. And then Bonnie Moore from Rome, and Bill is from Savannah. Bonnie is from Rome. She's one of our board members, and then she was also trained this year or last year? Last year in what is called NAMI Smarts, and that is our advocates program, teaching affiliates and people on how to advocate using the NAMI program. And then Jim Moore, who walked in, is also with Bonnie. He was also trained in that program too. I also want to recognize Paul Weiser. He was one of the first ones who got NAMI Homefront in the VA, and I'm sure Anise will tell us about our partnership with that, but Paul was one of the ones who really started it down at the VA and got the ball rolling, so we're glad that he's in the room too. So with that, Amy, we're going to do about 5-7 minute introduction and then open it up for questions, and then just...
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm very excited about this program. This is not a signature program, it is a signature presentation. It actually goes into middle school and high schools, and it educates them. It's a mental health awareness presentation. It is done by a 2-person team. It is done by 2 people with lived experience. And we preferably like for it to be a young adult between ages 18 and 25 who shares their recovery story. And that is the biggest challenge of Ending the Silence, which we'll talk about in just a second. And then there's a lead presenter who presents the slideshow and weaves in their lived experience. The kiddos get to leave with a wristband. Ending the Silence wristband with the NAMI.org on it. It's not designed for every child to get one, but we use it as a caveat for them to ask questions and participate. So in Columbus, what we have done, we have been tirelessly working to get into our local school system. There are 2 big challenges with Ending the Silence. That's one of them. Many administrators, I'm a teacher, so many administrators believe that if you go into a school and you start talking about suicide and you start talking about all of these issues, that kids are going to go home and do it. And research shows just the opposite. So what I would recommend, if you want to get this started, find you an ally within your school system. I would start with a guidance director or a person who's a counselor, someone that will be your ally. You don't want to start at the top. If you email the superintendent and ask for this program, you will not get a good response. Fortunately, I did have an opportunity to sit down and speak with our superintendent. Forgive me, I have an appliance in my mouth. I'm finishing orthodontics, so I apologize for my S's. Anyway, I had a chance to sit down and speak with our superintendent for about 30 minutes about NAMI programs. What he's looking for are evidence-based programs. We are working on that. We are tirelessly working on that as well. He believes in NAMI, he loves our programs, but he wants more evidence, he wants more data. So what we are doing at this point, we are piloting the program within some local high schools. We started one before Christmas. Unfortunately, they had a suicide after that. So we have not been able to go in. We're letting that die down before we can actually finish that. The suicide was unrelated to our presentation. It was a graduate who had just graduated the year before and was a very popular student in this school. So we hope to finish their pilot in the fall. We're going to pilot that entire school. The program is done in health classes, psychology psychology classes, anywhere where you would explore those types of issues. This can be done in a youth group. It can be done anywhere you have kids from 13 to 18 years old. So as Kim alluded to, I am a state trainer and a national trainer. This tells you what situation we are in within the assignments. Right now, we are in 25 states. This year at national training, we did not have enough interest to do a training at NAMI-GA. Last year we had 18 or 19 trainers. The good news is, once a trainee receives the training, then they can train other people in their affiliate online. So that's why some of those people did not return. However, we don't have enough interest in the other 25 states to get people to train their trainers to train. It's also the same case for parents and teachers as allies, which hopefully this will be leading to. You can research all that on NAMI-GA. They're fabulous. This little promo video was done by our national program manager. She worked very, very hard on it. So it's very short. It actually shows kids in their response to the presentation you did. Our responses that we've gotten from the student evals have been fabulous. We are now in a school called the Early College Academy. We are piloting it. We hope to finish it by the end of May. We are partnering with a program called Project Aware, which was not mentioned in the general session, but it has been funded by SAMHSA. It is a grant. It has been funded in 3 counties, River Quality, Newton, and Muskogee, where we are. And it's also another mental health program that is bringing trainings to teachers, other people throughout the community. So that's a whole another sidebar. But we do have 3 school systems who are advancing mental health, and that's really just the best way to put it. Advancing mental health trainings and trying to bring mental health awareness to school systems. So I am an educator, a 30-year veteran educator. I have 1 more year before retirement. I see this every day on my job, and we know how important it is. She was talking about early intervention this morning. This is what Ending the Silence is all about. Parents and teachers is a different presentation. It uses a different team, and they actually go into schools and they train educators on this. The kids get a wristband, they get a little business card, size card, that has the warning signs, parental warning sign, and it also has many resources on the back, websites, social media contacts, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. So if your affiliate is interested in bringing Ending the Silence, you do have to have a program coordinator. You have to have a person that is going to be responsible for contacting the school district and getting it going. You do have to have someone that does that. It is a thankless job, but it is worth it. I am right now the trainer and the program coordinator. So 2 capacities. But I promise you, it is a fabulous program. And what we have heard at the national level is that once it catches on, and it's been in 5 or 6 schools, it spreads like wildfire through that state. Because the principals in one district, they collaborate, and then they go to the state conferences, and the superintendents start collaborating, and then it spreads through a state in nothing flat. So we are on the ground floor in Georgia. I did have an opportunity to go to the NAMI Georgia office last summer and train some people. Kim was in on the training so she could get familiar with the presentation. So again, that is a signature presentation. It's for young adults, ages 13 through 18. The 2 challenges are, if you can remember, number 1, getting into a school district. Number 2, finding young adults that are in recovery between the ages of 18 and 25 who feel comfortable enough to share their story with others. That's all. Is that
Any
my
questions? Yeah.
Okay, great.
Do you have sources of strength in your school system?
Yes, we're working on sources of strength. That is one that is coming to us. And gosh, there's so many others. I don't want to take up everyone else's time. But there are Project Aware is bringing trainings for young adults and teachers. I don't know. I can't remember some of the other trainings. But all I know is when we work with Project Aware, we're using them as the door to get into the schools. We're using them as the gateway to get in. Because we did receive funding from SAMHSA, I called them and I said, look, can we come in under you? Can we come in under the grant? And so far, it's working. So as far as all of the programs that Project Aware does, I don't know. But sources of strength is definitely one I recognize.
And I want to point out, our theme is Be a Georgia Mental Health Hero. And the thing that is important to recognize is you never know as hard as Amy's been working, and she has done so much, I really see her as a Georgia mental health hero, because if you looked at our ballot, we have the Department of Education coming onto our board, or hopefully y'all voted her in, I don't know. But that is huge. That is huge, and that is a lot of due to what Amy did with Project Aware. That's how she became familiar with NAMI, was through Project Aware and the work that Amy did. So, thank you, Amy.
Our representative from the Georgia Department of Ed was at one of our Project Aware core team meetings, and I just walked up to her and said, this is what's going on. We're interested in letting you know about it, and then I guess the ball just kind of rolling.
You never know what seed you plant.
Yep. Yes, ma'am?
Have you ever thought about partnering with a group like the Gay Straight Alliance or any of the LGBT?
I have never thought about that at all. I'm sure there's many avenues we can partner with that we haven't.
Right, because I've got, my son is in the Gay Straight Alliance, or he was when he was in high school, and we've actually been, and with that, we've been approached by that organization to do an ending the silence program. We haven't followed up with it yet, this is just a brand new thing, but they've got chapters all over the state, and that would be a really good way, to get in and do like an after-school thing, and they would announce, during school, if you want to stay, you don't have to be in the GSA, you don't have to be in that program if you want to stay and listen to it. That would be a good way to get it introduced.
As long as you have permission to be on campus for that, for something like that. After-school clubs are a great way to go as well. We're trying to get into the churches. I met with a group of ministers from one organization, and regrettably, I did not hear back from one minister. I think the liability is the issue. I really, really do. But hopefully, people will find out how wonderful this program is. You got to start from somewhere.
And Nancy, Jaffe is trained. Nancy and I got trained together.
Yeah.
And we also have somebody trained in ending the silence already in Gwinnett, a young person. Yeah.
Nikki,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always forget that you were in that class. Your hair was different. See?
My hair's always different.
Yes.
I really don't understand why it's taking so long, because I mean, like, if the kids have an example of what mental illness is, or what a mental health condition is now, I changed the website, then they're not going to ask the right questions, or the teachers aren't going to have the ability to ask those questions. So what's taking so long? I really don't understand it, because I mean, it's like sexual education should be in every school, and some schools are trying to fight it.
The biggest obstacle is that administrators are afraid if you discuss suicide that kids are going to go to. That's what they are afraid of. They're not familiar with the statistics and everything that has been shown, that studies show. But our pilots are showing that the kids want this program. On the evals, they're like, this needs to be in every school. We enjoyed it very much. Please come back again. We get all those kinds of wonderful comments. So just know that this program is on the ground floor, and it's coming, and everything you can do to help us, we appreciate it.
All right. Go ahead.
So you said it's what was the funding stream? Sam, so it's for Project Aware, but we weren't receiving any of that kind of funding, but Ginger Van is a great for us, and I forgot to mention, there is some funding available for ending the silence. Kim, I don't know how much, I'm not gonna go there and try to, guess how much funding is left, but NAMI Georgia does have some funding specifically for ending the silence, that may still be available. Yes, that may still be available. So if you need a training,
Next program is Homefront. Anise?
Hi, how are you everybody? Glad to be here. It's not a whole lot really to give you at this point, except for that the importance of the Homefront is just unbelievable, because it's really close. Who's not familiar with the Family to Family? No, anyone? You're not familiar? Okay. The Family to Family program is basically one of NAMI's programs to teach those people and educate those who live with people with mental illness. And it was a 12-week program. And the thing about the 12-week program, this long, and we had very few people drop out, because it got interesting, more interesting, and more interesting. In fact, the one that I was in most of the time was at the VA, all right there, for about 4 or 5 years. And I always said, why don't you get one just for the vets? And they told me, talk about them. and then they'll ease in a little PTSD, you know, in one of the courses. Then they want to make it a 13-week, just PTSD. So it's okay, let's get on this, you know, just for the vets. All right, great. So here we are, the Homefront. I've been like a little kid waiting for Six Flags, so someone's over. So here we are, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it. We've had 4 classes scheduled, and we just had the first teaching class, which I was in, I think it was 10 of us. And we have another teaching class coming up in August for those who are interested in becoming teachers in the Homefront for the veterans. My background is actually Veterans Court, CIT. I've been dealing with a lot of the veterans who have a combination of issues, but nothing is like teaching and educating them for 6 weeks on how to really deal with that. I was in the class, I say, yeah, I'm the guy that you're living with. I'm the Vietnam vet that you, oh wow, you know, so this is for them, and we have partnered, and that's what I said, that is a big deal. She talked about the educational program being partnered with VA. That means VA loves this. They say, oh, this is wonderful. I'm for it and all for it, and I think that's one of the greatest things that we can do. In fact, there's so much a part of it that they're gonna do the books, they do the materials, they say we can have, you have the classroom, you don't even have to worry about getting up here. Oh, wow, really, this is great. You know, so this is really cool. So we're gonna have 10 classes a month. You know, so here's where we are. We've had, and I'm excited about it, like you said, Paul's, actually it was a family-to-family class that converted over real quick once we all got trained. Paul's already there, so we got started. So he was able to do the first one. I have one coming up at Fort McPherson. It's kind of tentative now for May 10th. I gave 2 schedules. I said either we can do 1 to 3 in the afternoon or 6 to 8 in the evening, whichever one works. So he said, whoa, I don't care. If both of them get filled, I'll do both. You know, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm excited. I'm that excited about it. And right now, as it stands, we have the with the partnership, VA is taking a lot of the responsibility to even support it. And by being a partner with NAMI, it just makes it just that much greater because we know now it will infiltrate into the VA even more. In other words, the HUD-VASH, homeless vets, everyone will soon hear more about it. And that 6-week class is very, very strong, but very, very enlightening. And the same information that we were throwing out in 12 weeks for just about generally everybody. That veteran can really get a real good idea, you know, or the person who's living with that veteran, about how we can make this change. And that's one of the things that I'm excited about because we still have the stigma problem, we have the other problems, we still have the vets getting caught up in jails, courts, and all those other things. So I'm glad to be part of it and be able to help while I'm in that class if something comes up along those lines. So I can only say that I'm excited about it again, and that if you have any additional questions, but you can ask us, but we still try to get some of the things out. But we're going fast forward with it, and I believe that this thing will be just one of the top programs because many of our veterans, especially when you hear statistics, like 22 suicides a day, that's almost 1 an hour. I say, how true is that? Wow, is that real? You know, but even if you cut it in half and say it was 10 a day, that's 1 every other hour. That's still too many vets. You know, I heard of a veteran at where I do chaplain training at Gwinnett, and there was a veteran officer there who got in trouble. There was another vet who actually completed the CIT program, committed suicide. So we have to get in there and get involved as much as we can. It doesn't matter whether you're on the 3rd floor or in the basement, you're still in the same building of trying to help someone. So that's the way I look at it, and anything that we can do to help that person, we should step forward. Because advocacy means just that. And you have to have the passion. You can't have it. I mean, you just have to. If you don't have that, don't try to do it. Because it's going to show up. You know, it's have to, you know, and it's just like it shows up that you are passionate. You know, like, I only have 5 minutes, I'm probably running overtime already, see? So
Okay.
see, you got
You have a question.
Okay, so I want to just ask, any questions right now? So,
Is that suicide in Georgia only?
that's across the board, yeah, no, not in Georgia. Oh, wow, no. Hope not. No, it's just a statistic that I ran across, it just kept bouncing back, and I'm like, well, who's saying this? But Shamsha has said that's very close, some said it's more, so even though